What up, what up, what up? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. It is 9:30, just passed. Welcome back to another edition of Johnny Gaz Live. You can catch me on YouTube, Facebook, all of those other socials. Wherever you can find Johnny Gaz content, you can find me on that social. Today, we have some huge topics. Today, we are talking the Hall of Fame game preview. Not only that, but we're going through camp updates from this past week. We're going to be talking day 7 highlights, day 8 highlights. We're talking Jared Goff being compared to Joe Montana. That's right. You heard me correct. But first, before we get going, I got to bring on the man, the myth, the legend, our special guest host, as always, the man that's inspired me to do better things in life, Russell Wayne, the villain. How you doing today, my man? Oh, I got you muted, my guy. I can't hear you. I don't know what's happening, Russell. I still got no audio from you, my man. I'm getting blank, but I'll keep us rolling. Keep working on it. But yeah, today we're going to walk through a couple days of training camp. I got a couple great topics here for us, and the first, well, we'll say unofficial depth chart came out today. So we're going to take a look at that too as we get a little bit closer to our game preview. Well, let's first say hi to some people in chat. Like if you want to get involved with us Tuesday nights at 9:30. Thank you, Dustin Evans, for
you like that?
We heard that. I heard loud and clear, my man.
Can you hear me now?
I got the voice graphic. I got you, Russell. You are loud and clear.
All right, good.
I got you, buddy. I got you. How you doing? How you doing, pal?
I am doing fantastic, and thank you for that wonderful intro. I'm glad that I try to inspire you to do good things. I don't know if it's the health thing that I'm doing in the morning with my son, walking around, talking a little bit of sports every day. Yeah. But yeah, we're finally we got real stuff to talk about. This is awesome.
You like that?
No, I those videos do inspire me, man. It's great to see just a happy, healthy family and talking sports, talking life, talking love, and that's always good in my book. So I'm proud of that, brother. I'm proud of you for that. So let's just take it nice and easy today because we got so much to talk about. Let's not rush anything through. We are talking actual football this week. We're going to see the Lions play an actual football game. So let's start right there. How pumped are you for just some freaking football, my man?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be a bunch of players by the second quarter that we've never heard of before, but I mean, it's real football. I mean, we get all jacked up. I mean, I'm just being real right here, but we get all jacked up. I'm so excited for some football. You ready for Johnny? And then it's like, I doubt we're even going to see the rookies. I think they said something about him not even playing Talik or Tate in this game. And it's like, by the second quarter, it's going to be Johnny come lately.
Joey Plumber and Jackson Construction Man. It's true.
The construction man, they're looking for the opportunity, but they're looking for the diamond in the rough. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a nerd. But type that in the comments if you're a nerd like us and you love all of the all of the back end people, the back end of the 90-man roster. If that infatuates you like it does me, let me know in the comments.
I love it. Yeah, get involved early. What's up, Danny? What's up, Davey, Marcus? I appreciate you all. We're going to get to your questions here in just a little bit. Let's take a step back before we talk about the Hall of Fame game itself. Let's go back a couple days and look at a couple camp highlights. Day 7, I think, and day 8 have brought on what I think is appearing to be some defensive dominance. What I heard out of camp these last couple days is that Aiden Hutchinson is not only at 100%, not only at 105%, but he's rocking at that superstar level, the defensive player of the year that we saw happening in front of our eyes in 2024. Well, it looks like he's hitting the ground running here in 2025. How are you feeling about Hutch, everything we're hearing out of camp, and what he'll bring to the table as we get past this preseason?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it's just, from my point of view, it doesn't surprise me, because if you've watched Hutchinson for any length of time, even dating back to the Michigan days, it's just like he's just that dude. He's going to work back. 2 weeks after the injury, he was at the park trying to do workouts and already trying to rehab. So it's just who he is, and he worked his ass off to get to the point where he could show up to camp and just go and be the normal guy that he wanted to be, which is just, next year Hutchinson going into year 5 or year 4? Year 4 for Hutchinson. So business as usual for him, and it doesn't surprise me, but it makes me happy to be what's the word I'm looking for? Man, I can't think of the word. We're
anticipating greatness, right?
Justified.
All right.
I'm justified in the way that I felt from before, because I listened to a lot of doctors that were out there that weren't really doctors telling me he'll never be the same or anything. And I'm just like, I just don't see him taking much time to get it better. Oh God, I'm gonna wait. I don't know if I want to put pressure on it. That's not Hutchinson. It's he's either got it or he doesn't.
That's it. And what's even better, and we talked about this last week a little bit.
We're gonna buy the kneecap off.
What's kind of been solidified now is it seems like Marcus Davenport is stacking good days on top of good days, and this will all come down to health. But I just always think about the potential of both those guys coming in at 100% and getting some games out of them. It really, to me, gets me excited. Now, we're not going to see any of that for many weeks down the road, so we'll save that conversation for another day. Another guy on defense that's really been impressing here in camp, and no surprise, right, is Brian Branch. Pro Bowler from last year, along with Kirby Joseph, forms the best safety tandem in the league. But what I'm hearing out of camp again is him taking even a next step, a next level. Guys like him and Terrion Arnold are going against some of the best wide receivers in the NFL, certainly what I would believe to be one of the better wide receiver groups in all of the NFL. Those guys are making plays on a daily basis against Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams. Seems like Brian Branch is prioritizing alignment. He's anticipating things a little better. He's becoming a little bit more vocal. I hate to stack great conversation on great conversation because we just talked about Hutch, but what's the next level for Brian Branch if what we're hearing from camp is true this year?
It's progression, right? I mean, that's what we talked about. The most dangerous thing on a team isn't your newest, hottest free agent that they just spent all the money on, or the guy you just re-upped on the contract. It's progression. It's progression. And you got Brian Branch going from his second to third year. He knows how the NFL works now, and he was elite his first year. And then second year, even switching positions, he was elite again, and now he's going to take another step. I mean, he's not at his prime yet. That's the thing. You got a couple more years before Brian Branch is going to reach his prime. And he's one of those guys that I love, and I really want to see them make a way to sign him to a long-term deal and keep him here with Kirby Joseph long-term. That's just my opinion.
You like that?
Well, sticking with the safeties, we know Kirby Joseph too this week. It was in a compression sleeve on his leg. Now I know they came out and said it's not anything major, but you have to kind of worry a little bit with all the injury stacking on top of each other. Plus now we have Terry and Arnold, who left practice early with a hamstring today. I'm waiting to hear a word on that one. Any concerns in the secondary with these stacking injuries?
I have to question like the severity of the top line players on the first week of training camp being injured. I think that we've dealt with these type of things before. It may be hey, I want to see guys lower on the depth chart injury. And I don't know. I mean, if it's real, I mean, it is concerning. Always concerning losing good players, but I really think that they value the bottom half of that 90-man roster and who's going to actually break through and even be on the practice squad and guys that can help them into the season, that they can move up and down.
Yeah.
They're concerned about the back end of that roster. We're not worried about Kirby Joseph making the team or having a spot on the team. So they put a lot of value in these training camp practices and getting a lot of data on everybody. I mean, even the guys that you don't care about. You know what I'm saying? Like the guys that the average person's just not even thinking about, the Maurice Norrises of the world. They value those guys that are going to be on the practice squad taking valuable snaps, because you never know. If Kirby goes down, Branch goes down, next thing you know, you're with Lauren Strickland and Anthony and Maddox. Mm-hmm. It's like but who isn't injuries away from their one injury of their star away from being at a bad position group, right?
Yeah.
You
might be onto something with the whole injury to see the back end players, because to me it feels like they may be taking it extra careful with just the minor things so that they don't become bigger issues. So, even a minor tweak, they're probably telling guys, look, we're not heroes this year. We're going to, you need to tell us what's going on, and then we're going to take it easy so that you are ready to go week one. So that's my wishful thinking, but also I think that's probably smart on the organization side. And like you said, they got to see other pieces this preseason, so it doesn't really hurt them right now. So I'm with you.
And they may be another thing to add to that would be they may just be being extra cautious. He did get over there and start rehabbing, and we're gonna look at these other guys. But
you like that?
The one that scares me is the Arnold one. I mean, it's a hamstring, and I really hope it's just precautionary. It sounds like he was working with a trainer on the side of the practice, so it didn't seem like it was something that took him out of it. But again, with how good he's been this preseason, and we need him to take that second year leap, that would just be the one that would hurt, in my opinion, the most.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to me, I want these guys being healthy week 11 on, I think that, we've proven that we can win games with whoever. Last year with all the injuries, they still found a way to win 15 games. And they just did it because it's a well-coached team. The next man up does know what he's doing. They got their jobs. I mean, Dick Campbell's talking about that today in his press conference, how it's like, I don't want you to go out and make a play. I want you to go out and do your job. I want you to crush the can. I don't care if you're running behind the quarterback, and trying to get a sack. No, I need you to crush that can and do your job. And if that leads to a sack, that leads to a sack. But if you're just pushing the pocket towards somebody else, that makes the play because everybody was doing their job. I think that's what Dan Campbell's looking for. We're disciplined like that. That means that guys with less talent can just do their job, and the defense still works.
Like that!
Skip Smith asked any word on Anzalone, and I did see he was back at practice, was actually a full participant back at practice, but when he was asked basically, if this meant that they moved forward with the contract, he clearly stated no, that was not the case. So we know that regardless of what his contract situation was, Alex Anzalone has not seen the field in the preseason. All the starters and the high-class rookies are not seeing the field here. But do you see anything playing out? We've hit this so many times, Villain, so we don't even spend a lot of time on it. But now that we're at where we're at, where there is not a contract, there's not a rework at this point, do you think we're going into the season that way, or do we still have time to wait?
Gosh, this is opportunity from this take on it. The man was a professional. That's what I want to say is Alex Anzalone is a professional. He showed up to camp. And he did his job, right? And he is still getting treated through the media and the questions as if he's a holdout kind of guy because he's unhappy with his contract. It's a business. It's okay to be upset with your contract situation, but he's a professional. He's showing up to work and he's doing his job. So maybe he goes into the season and doesn't have a new contract. They still have him on there. It's just a zero guaranteed money thing right now. That's it. Like, there's no guaranteed money. They could cut him and they don't owe him a dime. There's nothing there. And if I'm him, I'm thinking I deserve to have that. I deserve to have a guarantee, even if it's just for this year. In my opinion, I think they should rework the contract. I think they will rework the contract. I think Alex is just going to continue the contract. Maybe it isn't for 2 years. Maybe he wants a multi-year deal, but maybe they just some guaranteed money. Like I said, you can watch the Khalif Raymond contract, and I feel that they're going to handle the Alex Anzalone contract like the Khalif Raymond contract. They'll throw him some guaranteed money. Maybe it'll make it so it'll take some kind of pressure off of 2026, if there is any, if they can do that with it. But yeah, God bless you, Alex Anzalone, for being a professional. Job.
You like that?
And everybody out there, make sure to go check out the Villain and his YouTube page, Detroit Lions Villain Squad. That QR code is right there for you. Make sure to scan that and say hello, subscribe, like. Helps us out so much. And we also both be putting out some fantastic Lions content. So go check him out on YouTube.
Stop playing with us.
We ain't playing with you, baby. We ain't playing with the Villain Squad. So let's keep moving on here, brother. The other thing I wanted to get into, some of the backup defensive backs, because of these injuries, seem to be stepping into the forefront. And we've talked about this man in the past, but Avonte Maddox, a guy that I think underrated pickup for the Lions, who now seems to be paying a lot of dividends as a backup role. Not only he can play safety, he can play nickel. Sounds like he can fill in a corner role if you have to. So his versatility there. Tell me about how those guys could maybe work themselves into the mix here, especially in the preseason, because I think he's going to get a shot.
Oh, for sure. There's a fierce competition backup roles when it comes to the safety position. Can you hear me? Hello, check 1 2.
Yep.
Okay.
I got
Sorry.
you. Yep, you're okay.
Yeah. Sorry, cut out there for a second. But no, you got other guys like Lawrence Strickland, and Maddox. That's a great one. I think there's a couple UDFAs that are sneaking around in there too. So it's like there's a fierce competition for that. What, third, fourth, fifth? Do they keep 5 safeties? Maybe 4 safeties. But they want those guys to have versatility.
Yeah.
You want those guys to be able to play like a Meek Robertson. He can play the slot, corner, or he can play outside, right? Maddox is more of a slot corner, or he can go back and play safety. And when you got Strickland, he's more of a true safety, when it comes to it. But these are guys that have been in the system. They've been in a room with Kelvin Shepherd for 3 years, and that's what I love about this defense, where I really think that a lot of these guys are going to take a huge step forward. In a secondary, man, I think that we're deep, and Kirby Joseph's injury might just be opportunity for somebody else to get more reps.
It's a scary group.
You like that?
Versatility is the name of the game. You called it out perfectly. I mean, they got guys that can play all different positions. They can flex all over the place. And honestly, if those safeties stay strong, there's really the sky's the limit, I think, for that group. Let's switch sides of football here, because I think the other big thing is the offensive line. And we've seen some shuffling happen here this second week of camp, where now they're inserting Graham Glasgow into the center role, primarily shifting Tate Ratledge back over to the right guard. The word I'm hearing right now, and this might be some speculation, but it seems like they're more confident in Glasgow at center right now and allowing Tate Ratledge to work into it. Is that how you kind of hear it and see it so far?
Sure. Yeah. I think it's smart too. I mean, they love having these guys cross-trained anyway, I mean, Tate Ratledge basically up until these last 2 practices has gotten a crash course of what it's like to play the center position. Now he's getting a crash course what it's like to play the guard position. So, and I'm sure that's going to change again. I'm sure he's going to go back and take some more center snaps. I could be wrong on that, though. If they really like what they see from Graham, I mean, Graham's played the center position before. And I liked it when Graham used that the old school way to snap the ball, where he used the nose of it.
Yeah,
his first year like that. Yeah, when he was at Michigan, he did that. So yeah, I think it's smart. I think you got to cross train all of these guys. I think they're going to be looking at Kingsley in this upcoming game. I think that's going to be a name to look for. At the center position, but we're deep at offensive line too. Feels good.
Playoffs.
Yeah, I think what the word was so many times over was that Hank Fraley is looking for the best 5 guys, and no matter what position they fit themselves into, he wants the 5 best. And I think that'll be the strategy as they move into the regular season. If Graham is the guy that brings the continuity to the 5 up front, then they'll roll with that until Tate's ready. And I think that's, like you said, it's a smart way to handle it. Don't force the issue. You got young guys you can build behind. And again, I go back to the Ragnow strategy and the way that worked itself out. There's nothing wrong with Tate playing a guard position and then getting his spot at center. That's exactly what happened with Ragnow. So I kind of see the same thing. And the other quote I saw was that someone said this might be the most cohesive group they've had in Detroit as far as O-line chemistry so early on in the season. And to think about that with the young guys fitting in there, that's scary, man.
Yeah, I mean, I made a case earlier in the offseason about how it's like you can't replace Frank Ragnow. It's just not going to happen. But overall, if you look at guard, center, guard, you got 3 different positions right there. I make a case that if you take all 3 of those positions together, that you could actually upgrade the position, even minus Frank Ragnow, because we didn't get good guard play. So if we get good guard play at both spots, and then, I mean, the center needs to be good too, but the center doesn't have to be Frank Ragnow good if you're getting good guard play or more continuity across the board, like more across the board guard play. I think that you could be in an advantage. You could make that case that the unit would be better than it was last year.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. I could definitely see that. And I'm confident in what we'll see in the preseason. Again, it sounds like Ratledge will not see the field at all, so we're not going to get to check him out. But he got good time in the scrimmage leading up to it, and I'm sure we'll get the same in the 2-team practices that they'll have, the intramural practices. So staying with the offense, John Morton came out and spoke this week as well. He had his press conference. In looking at practice film coming out of camp, what I've noticed is a difference in the way Jamison Williams seems to be acclimating himself this year. I saw him run a red zone route that was one of the best routes I've ever seen. And I only bring that up because it seems like footwork, his route tree is expanding in this current role in this offense. With all of that being said, what is Jameson Williams' true potential in this offense with John Morton versus Ben Johnson in previous years?
So Ben Johnson is an offensive genius. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from Ben Johnson, but the word that I've heard around the campfire of how he was he was just more rigid. Like he was limited, but it was limited within the offense. Ben was a genius at being able to, create these different matchups, but they didn't ask the wide receivers to do all of them to go deep, right? And I think that what they're doing with Jameson, because that route, I mean, I know what route you're talking about, man, where, I mean, you thought for sure he was going to run that post and he just stopped and went over. Is that what you're talking about? That it looked like he was going to do a post, like he was going to run deep, and then he just stopped and
dined to the pylon. I mean, it was like a triple move. I've never seen that
insane.
Out of him before.
I mean, the limit is, if he takes the next step, he was a 1,000-yard receiver on 50 catches last year. I mean, really, if you just do the math on it, I mean, if they just target him more, get him 90 catches this year, he's going to have 1,500 yards receiving, and is a threat to score every single time. So it becomes dangerous here, especially when you're factor in like Isaac Tesla, who is also they've been. Gosh, he looks really good too.
Amen.
Speed and then size on the other side, and then you got Amon-Ra St. Brown and Laporta taking up your slots, Gibbs and Montgomery in the backfield. It's like Johnny Morton's got to be sitting like a kid in a candy store, just being like, gosh, the last time I was an offensive coordinator, my quarterback was Josh McCown.
Dude, let's take a look at this real quick. Let me blow this up. We got to take a look at this.
Yes, please.
Ooh-wee. Golly, Bob.
Come on, man.
Again, those are things I don't think the Lions trust him to do.
This is sick. No.
Oh. So I don't know, man.
You can't guard that. You can't guard that.
No. Things like that excite me a lot. That was the progression for Jameson Williams. I mean, obviously, every route's not going to be that. And it's the point is the confidence to run a route like that. And I think John Morton's going to let him work through those things better. Whereas in the Ben Johnson offense, it was, you're going here. You're doing this. This is you. I think he has more chance to think and be a player. I love it.
You know what? This is something that we can help the football watcher right here. What Jameson Williams gives to the offense is space. Now, what happens when you have a guy like Jameson Williams is you have to have that safety going, all right, I'm going to inch over here an extra 2-3 feet, maybe a yard to shade Jameson Williams too. And when you do that, you're giving Amon-Ra St. Brown more space in the middle. You're opening up, and if you have to move a linebacker out to guard Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? All of a sudden, the middle of that defense is on the perimeter so they could run the ball with Gibbs, with no linebackers. It opens up space for everybody. And like I said, a kid in a candy store, John Morton's going to be like, last time I had an offensive coordinator, my quarterback was Josh McCown and Bilal Powell.
Bilal Powell, nice reference.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you're right, though.
Who's he? He didn't do very well with that, but those guys had career years when he was offensive coordinator.
Yeah, this offense it's going to be scary. We talked about the offensive line is the biggest question. Can they figure out how to just work that back out so that things can keep humming? And have a lot of faith they will. And if that's the case, the amount of talent that Goff can play with is scary. And that's kind of where I'm going with this. We had a visitor to Lions camp this week. Some people don't like him, but I'm a fan. I like John Gruden. I know he's done some weird things in his history, but to me, he's a football guy at heart, and he knows X's and O's better than anybody, and he knows what he's looking at. So when he came to camp this week, not only did he get into a little bit of everything, but what I took out of it more than anything was a take or a quote that he had about Jared Goff, comparing him to Joe Montana. So let me just read this real quick because I don't want to misquote this. This is John Gruden from Lions camp, if I can find it here. Of course, I just lose it when I need it. Here we go. I hate to throw comparisons out, but the number and the continuous movement that he plays with, he's always reminded me of Joe Montana from my days with the 49ers, comparing his timing, rhythm, and mental command. And he called Detroit as talented as anybody in the NFL. So let's start with the comparison. I'm not saying Jared Goff is Joe Montana. So I'm not crazy. Let's just say that right now. But do you see any sort of resemblance in the way Jared Goff plays the quarterback position versus how Joe Montana would play the quarterback position?
Gosh, man, you're going to get me in trouble here, Gruden.
We're going to get killed for that regardless. You think Jared Goff?
No. I mean, the thing is, I would say that the Lions resemble what Joe Montana had. Like, I would think that it's not as far of a stretch for me to say that Amon-Ra St. Brown is heading down a Jerry Rice type of path with him running a slow 40 and being the greatest wide receiver of all time. And so when you look at Roger Craig, who was like the first really receiving type of running back to go to Jahmyr Gibbs, Goff in that type of situation, I mean, he's accurate. I mean, and Joe Montana was really accurate. Goff is a lot cooler in the pocket than people give him credit for. And it isn't like he's not going to run, but he does the little moves. He knows where his protections are. You can slide up into the pocket and make throws like that. And so, yeah, Joe Montana, I mean, I wouldn't go to the Joe Montana thing, but I think that he has a Joe Montana type of situation.
That's a great.
You like that?
That's perfect. I think you're right. And I actually think that's what Gruden sort of meant in general, because he said with his time with the 49ers. So he knew, Bill Walsh and the system that they had back then. I mean, it was all filtered to make sure that the quarterback was his best. And it just so happened that Joe Montana was a Hall of Fame quarterback on top of it. Broski brings up a good point. Yes, Joe Montana certainly was more mobile and had the ability to pass on the run compared to Jared Goff was much better. But I would make one argument in return. I think Jared Goff has better footwork inside the pocket than Joe Montana. I could show you many examples. Go back and watch that Seattle game. He was pressured that whole game, but he went 18 for 18. Watch his footwork in the pocket that game and tell me he doesn't have good footwork. He's slow as hell, but man, he can move in the pocket.
And I'll give Steve Young more of the pocket San Francisco quarterback. I don't know if that was Joe Montana's type of thing. Maybe he had that Joe Burrow type of swagger to his game. Yeah, he was like Joe Cool in that situation. But I'm okay with it. I don't care. It's not my opinion. It was John Gruden's opinion.
That's true. Take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But I saw him, a picture of him and Amik Robertson just reliving the old Raider days, too. So that's always a little bit funny to me.
I like Raiders.
I like Gruden's quarterback camp, too. That always gets me going. So you mentioned this player earlier, and we didn't get into him a lot, but I want to hit on him a little bit more because I think he could be an X factor in more ways than one. You mentioned wide receiver, young guy, Isaac Tesla, who's been turning heads at camp. So not only is his physical size impressive, but the things that he was doing in college are now they seem to now relate to the camp, which is really good to see. He's winning 50-50 balls. He seems to be athletic as far as being able to toe tap catch. The hands are there. Yes, he has dropped the pass, so let's not beat that up. But the truth is, with his size and with what I think the Lions will get out of Tim Patrick this year, I feel like there's a huge opportunity for him to come in and be, at the very least, a red zone threat for this offense. What do you see for Isaac Tesla from what we've seen and what you can project for him this season?
He's the future X. I mean, he's playing the part. You know, I think he's going to come in and impact immediately. I can't believe they used a third round. Well, if they get a third round pick, they use him, and he becomes the X wide receiver. Tim Patrick, when they interviewed him today, he had a great comment where he said something to the effect of, I'll take on anybody's third or fourth cornerback, and I'm going to own it. Like, I'm just going to destroy this guy. I think Isaac Tesla is that already. I mean, I wouldn't your third, fourth cornerback, Isaac Tesla. He's like licking his chops as a young kid. He's like, dude, you can't cover me. I'm 6'4", but I'm blazing fast. He's like 4.40, isn't he? He's really fast, isn't he?
Yes, he's very quick, especially at 6'4", 215. That's what makes him scary. Is the speed with the size combo is crazy.
And he don't drop passes. Like, that was the other thing at Arkansas. I mean, hey, who was the quarterback for Arkansas?
Remind me. Right now?
No. I mean, that's the point.
Yeah.
I don't
no idea.
I don't know either. I don't know either.
Kelvin quarterbacker.
So, according to Brad Holmes, that he may have just watched the player. Right. And like I said, man, if he's a productive player, then you're going to forget about where you drafted the guy anyway. It doesn't matter. And it looks like he's a 6'4" monster wide receiver, and Tim Patrick's on a 1-year deal. So let's go. Let's move it.
You like that?
Yeah, I think that's the plan for sure. So let's get into this game preview, man. Now that we have an opportunity to actually talk a football game, and like you said, we're the game itself, the play will be what it's going to be. But we know it's Thursday, July 31st, Canton, Ohio, Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. It's going to get the full broadcast feel. So the nice thing is we'll kind of get to see the full perspective. We know the Lions won't play starters, and they did come out and say for sure that Tyleek and Tate will not be a part of this football game. So what are you expecting? Let's just put an overall on this, and then we'll get into some specifics. What do you want to see from the Lions in their first preseason game?
I want to see a well-coached team. I want to see that the backups know what they're doing, that they're in the right place, that they're not getting embarrassed, even on their third and fourth and fifth string. And I want to know who those guys are. I want to know. I'm going to take notes, and I'm going to want to know who the fringe guys are, who is battling for the roster spots, who's got a shot. That's what you want to find out. You want to find out if the undrafted free agents can play in real time, like where you got the national audience looking at you. So throwing them into the fire right there. And our rookies, I don't know if they want to throw them out there like that yet, especially the ones that are going to play. I think there's something about holding those guys away from the eyes of just all of the media and the national audience. You got to hold some of that stuff back because you don't want to show that right there. Oh, they need the experience. It's like, I don't know about that. I think I could argue that you want to give the other guys the experience in that, because your main guys, the ones that are already starting, where you already know where Jared Goff and Gibbs and Amon-Ra, you don't want those guys playing out there. That's not valuable experience to play, one scrimmage game when you do 7 of them a week, especially I think the most useful part of preseason is when they get to go practice with the other teams. I think that's probably, and it isn't the game that is the most useful, in that it's the practices where they get to go up against a different defender, a guy that they haven't been going against 8 days a week. So there you go. Sorry.
You like that?
No, you go. That's no worries. Because I agree with you, man. I think they take more onus out of those joint practices. I really feel like that's where they think those guys get the experience. And we saw it last year, man. They got at it with the Giants. Those were nuts kinds of practices, but they like that. It does show what those players are made of. And I think you almost get more of a true grit feel in those practices than you do in some of these preseason games. So number one, it's stay healthy for me. Got to stay healthy. And like you said, I want to see a well-oiled operation. That doesn't mean everything's going to go perfectly or you're going to score 56 points or put up a zero burger on defense. You just want clean special teams, limit the penalties, limit the after the play stuff, those kind of things. Like you said, a well-coached team. So I agree with you. Those to me are the important things.
So I want to see, because we know we're not going to see our first and second round pick, but he didn't say anything about the other guys. I want to see Isaac Tesla in this game. I hope that he becomes a star in the game and I get to talk about that. And then I also want to see Ahmed Hassanin.
Yeah.
I want to see Effort Man, because I've heard nothing but good reviews about this dude's just got a relentless passion to learn, and it's just another one of these character guys that is just going to practice his ass off until he gets it right.
Yeah, the story was out of the Free Press was that he was basically following around Aiden Hutchinson, like within 7 feet of him for like 3 days straight. And when he finally was like, bro, what is happening? He goes, I just want to be you, man. I want to be you as much as possible. I love that kind of stuff. I love those stories. I think he's going to be a surprise. I really think he's going to do some things early, and it's going to be a nice surprise. I hear static. What's going on with static? Try this.
We'll go ahead and change it.
There we go. So I want to pull up the unofficial depth chart, because that has come out, was kind of leaked. And again, this is not official. This is not at all from the Detroit Lions. So I don't want to pretend like this is something that the Lions put out, but I do want to discuss a couple things on here. So let me share this real quick with us. Here we go. So let's just take a look at a couple things that kind of came out to me here. In reference to the game that we're going to play, the Hall of Fame game, and again, none of the starters will play. So with Graham Glasgow out of the mix, do you see Kingsley Egaquin being the starting center for the Lions here in this first game?
I do. I absolutely do. Because it's not going to be Glasgow.
No.
It might be Colin.
He'll definitely see time.
I mean, it'd be one of those two. Whichever one doesn't start, you'll see them in the second round of guys.
Does a guy like Dan Skipper, I mean, because of his veteran status, do you think he plays? And two, is he the left tackle because of Decker's situation?
No. I think this is Giovanni Manu. It's Giovanni Manu time, man. Let's just see what you got, buddy. You went and you practiced with Taylor Decker out in Arizona with the Charles LeBentley offensive line. Let's see what you learn. The big Tongan nightmare.
Yeah.
The Samoan nightmare. He's gonna join the wrestling. Roman Reigns.
Drop the elbow, baby.
And Giovanni Manu is a new member.
He's the Brotherhood. He's the
That's
new
right.
king of the table, head of the table.
And acknowledge me.
You've had enough of that shit.
Okay, I'll stop.
No, I love it. You know I love it. You mentioned Tesla. We talked about him to death, but I think behind him, I really want to see the wide receiver battles. We know the front guys won't play. Khalif won't play, but Tom Kennedy always makes an appearance in the preseason. The rookie Dominic Lovett is going to be in the mix. Jacoby Keeney James, guys that will be competing for that last wide receiver position or special teams position. So to me, the wide receiver group is certainly one to look out for. Obviously, quarterback situation, and this is the big one because we've said all the time now, this is usually the Hendon Hooker show, and this is now the part of the season where we just spend the rest of the preseason going over how great Hendon Hooker is and why we should consider him over Jared Goff. Well, let's put all that aside. What do we need to see? What do we need to see from Hendon Hooker this preseason to feel confident in the number 2 quarterback for the Lions?
Well, judging by what Dan Campbell said in the press conference, they need him to run the offense rather than to go out there and try to be slickery-dickery-dock. going out there trying to. He says, "I don't need you to go out there and make plays. I need you to run the offense." That was what he said. It's like, wow. It's like he wants the timing, right? He wants you to, when everybody does their job, there's going to be space somewhere. You run the offense, you throw the ball to the right person.
Yep.
I know that you can make plays with your legs, but we need you to run the offense. But from the word around the campfires, he's been doing well with that. He's been playing well in his second and third team reps, but the surprise is that Kyle Allen is also playing very well.
Yeah.
And actually making a thing of it. So I don't know. They keep 3 quarterbacks. I don't know. They're going to get their shot. Both of those guys, the Hendon Hooker versus Kyle Allen battle for supremacy is on. Okay.
I really hope that it's not a Kyle Allen outplays Hendon Hooker situation. I feel like that's worst case scenario, but it is also the reason why I think they brought him in, because they're not 100% sold on Hendon Hooker just yet, if there needed to be a backup to come in. But to me, like you said, I got to see him be confident in the offense, make the audible calls at the line of scrimmage yourself, see the defense, make the right reads, throw the ball away. Don't put yourself in a bad situation. I think last year he tried to overdo it a little bit in the preseason. I really want to see him play quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want to see from him.
Thing is I don't think they look at it like that, Johnny. I mean, I know that we do. Oh man, it must be because Hendon Hooker sucks, right? I don't think they look at it like that. They've always looked at it like competition. They're always going to try to bring in a talented person that have 3 good quarterbacks. Then then there's value there. When you're playing the small game. So if they have 3 good quarterbacks, they have 3 good quarterbacks, because if they can run 3 quarterbacks that can run the offense is all that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is like, I don't need you to go out there and make a play. Do you know why he would say something like that? It's because you have Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams. You don't need to make a play. You just need to get it into the hand of a playmaker. You don't need to be slickery dickory dock. And then you can be fast after that, right? As long as you're running the offense, and if everything breaks down, you can escape the pocket like that. That's where you can be worth. Throw the ball, get it into the hands of the playmakers, run the offense, and realize that there's a playmaker at every single position, everywhere. Not one spot, not one person that's out on the field is incapable.
I agree. Let me know down in the chat below, guys. What are you most looking forward to? Oh, sorry, buddy.
Every single one.
You're good, buddy. You cracked up a little bit. Let me know down in the comments below, guys. What do you want to see from the Lions in the first preseason game? What do you expect from the Hall of Fame game? And what are you looking forward to the most? What position group do you want to see? I really appreciate everybody getting involved in the chat. Marcus Newsom, Matt McIntyre, Broski, Dwayne Keene, everybody for getting in today. I really appreciate you guys. Again, we're going live Tuesday nights at 9:30, me and the villain. As we get rolling in this preseason, we'll go over the games. We'll preview the next games. As we get into the regular season, this might be a grades review. This could be a preview of the upcoming game. A lot of things that we'll have on our plate here this season. But Tuesdays at 9:30, definitely come and check us out. Let's wrap it up with this one. We're still talking the Hall of Fame game preview. Let's switch sides. We talked the offense. How about defensively? We're not going to see Hutch. We're not going to see all the big boys. With some of these minor injuries, we might be seeing a lot of the second, third, fourth string guys. Who defensively, besides you mentioned Ahmad Hassanin, are you looking most forward to seeing on Thursday?
Grant Stewart, the
Nice.
linebacker. Yes, the special teams ace. I guess he's been showing out in camp, and I want to see the dreads coming out. He's got the big hair, and I want to see. I want to see him flying around. I want to see him in there making plays. I know that. I went to the Indianapolis game last year, and he played a little bit in that. But I know that he had a game last year where he had 17 tackles in the game in relief for whatever linebacker was there. So he can play. So I would like to see the linebacker battle in general, because there's a bunch of guys that are on the second, third level behind Barnes and Anzalone and Campbell. Who do you got? You got Stewart and who else they got?
Zach Cunningham, Anthony
go.
Pittman, Ezekiel Turner, Trevor Nowaski, Deron Gilbert. I mean, we're gonna see all of those guys all day long.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking right there. It was the Cunningham was the guy that the other one that was showing out.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of good things from camp from him, and they're going to need that, because you're right. Barnes won't see the field at all, and we know the injury to Rodriguez, so it's going to be his show, and he'll have a chance to continue to make a name for himself.
And then somebody else is going to step out of there, because in the third and fourth quarter, there's going to be linebackers in there that we don't know the names of, and I'm going to just be totally honest. I'm not that deep in knowing every single one of these guys. Not on the back end of the 90-man roster. But
What
that's
do you mean?
why
You're not going to break down the Nick Whiteside performance? Come on, bro.
Yeah, the backup punter. No, okay.
Yeah, baby.
I need to know.
Broski brings up a good point. Rakestraw said, Rakestraw needs a solid performance. Do you think Rakestraw sees the field?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You think so? They don't hold him back?
He's another guy that they love his second year progression. And it's amazing what an off season will do. Like all of the guys that you've written off from your own team, Broski, from last year that, they might not have done nothing, right? They might have taken the whole off season and worked on their craft and leveled their game up and progress. And I absolutely think that Rakestraw is going to progress. And maybe he's not going to be a frontline starter, but from what I heard is he's competing. He's going to be in there competing. And if he can provide depth, if he ends up being the fifth corner and making the team, and that's your floor, is a progressing second round pick, I'll take that. I think that's what you want. You want your front line. Our top four corners are outstanding. When it just okay, I'm good there. And then you have your developmental pieces that come in after that. Your guys that you've been working with, and there's a bunch of them. I mean, Khalil Dorsey, there's another good cornerback. So, yeah, I like Rakestraw to be the developmental guy that he is. And there's not any pressure on him. That's the other thing, Broski. There's no pressure on Rakestraw to have to come in right now, unless there's an injury or two. There could be pressure that's put on him. But for right now, DJ Reed, Terrion Arnold, Meek Robertson. I mean, you're solid. Rock Ya-Sin.
How about the defensive tackles? Marcus brings up a good point. We just talked about the linebackers, but that defensive tackle rotation is heavy too. You mentioned the last time we got together, Pat O'Connor. That's another guy that I'd like to see a little bit more of as well. He seems to be just putting in multiple seasons now of just good work. So he'll be another guy competing for, and it really will play, I think, a big role up front with all these injuries. How do you see the defensive tackle position kind of shaking out, especially in this first game? No Aleem, no DJ, no Tyleek, no Mekhi Wingo. Do you think Roy Lopez sees the field, or they hold him back as well?
Well, I think they'll end up holding all of the names back, the ones that and then you're going to see a bunch of guys. Chris Smith, it's another guy who'll probably see a lot of action. Cooper, the undrafted free agent, they've been kicking him inside. You're going to see a lot of UDFAs in this. Campbell don't like to show his hand too much. If you got guys that already, I think Lopez will get some work. I mean, he's down the depth chart a little bit. You won't see Reader. You probably won't. I mean, you probably won't see Lopez or Tyleek. You gotta see the other guys. I mean, I'm rationalizing this live. We are live.
No, it's all right. We're definitely live. We're way live. We're rolling through some of these questions, buddy. How about this one? Does Kennelly or Jackson steal the show at safety? Both are getting camp buzz. What do you think for the backup safeties for the first one?
What a great problem to have. That's the first thing. It's like, yeah, get the buzz. Yeah, Jackson. To me, I'm rooting for Jackson. That's your draft pick. That's who you're. You got a 4-year contract on, and you're making that investment. And if you hit on your investments, let's go. I mean, Kenley, that's fine. He's a UDFA, right? He was one
Correct.
of the undrafted free agents. That's awesome, man. If you got these guys picking it up, whichever one is making more headway on special teams will have the head up.
Another question here is, does Vaki get some run at running back? And I know he had some minor injury concerns this week, but he was a full participant in day 8 practice. I would expect if that's the case, we do see him on the field in some running back position. What do you think, Villain? One, do you think he makes any impact at running back? And do the Lions ever work him back at safety?
There's no reason to think that he would ever play any safety.
Yeah.
I guess he was the more of a safety, and we turned him into a running back. But we saw the talent in the running back. That's what Brad Holmes. He saw something there, and it's there, and you can see it. But he's a special teams ace.
That's it.
First and foremost. And Craig Reynolds is your third running back. So really, you got a nice solid number 4 running back, and yeah, he'll see a lot of action. I'm sorry, I'm taking so long to answer these questions. He'll get some work. Vaki, he'll get quite a few carries. I don't know how many Craig will get. Craig will act like the starter probably. Come on, Craig, start the game, and then you'll see some Vaki, and then you'll see a whole bunch of UFAs and a bunch of these guys that they just signed recently. The back end of the 90-man.
Well, we always talk about Mr. Tom Kennedy. You can't unalive Tom Kennedy, as you always say. And with that being said, the Lions might have the deepest wide receiver room in the NFL. Because of that, does Tom Kennedy find a way on this team, or is he another practice squad player again this year?
Oh, he'll be on the practice squad. You'll see it. He's going to get cut from the team. That we're way too deep at wide receiver right now. I mean, the fact that they love it and Tesla are you're adding 2 new guys in there, and even Meeks has been showing out in there too. So it's going to be really, really sorry, Kennedy. We can't keep 12 wide receivers.
Is there a way Khalif Raymond gets cut? A Broski question. I'll let you field that one.
Gosh, I don't think so. I think it's something that when you look at like the Madden part of it, where you're like, oh man, they could just get rid of him, but he's so valuable to them. They like him on the returns. They restructured his contract to where it ends after this year. So and they gave him some gifts. So I don't think Khalif Raymond has anything to worry about.
I don't think there's enough. Go ahead. I'm sorry, buddy.
Even as a niche, even if it was just as the punt returner, they would keep him on the team. Like if all of the other wide receivers show out so much that Khalif doesn't really see the field, as a wide receiver, I think that they're good with that. So I hope that answers your question, Broski.
Yeah, I just think the money there for Khalif isn't enough for them to say, well, we got to cut this guy. And like you said, the versatility is an all-pro returner, so they're not just giving that away. And they also like him as the Jameson Williams too, right? Because if you're going to use JMO now in all these other route combinations and route patterns, he's going to need to get some plays off. And they have just as much confidence running these plays with Khalif Raymond. He's just as fast. I hate to say that. People forget that guy's a burner, man. I mean, he might not have the dynamic set that JMO has, and he's smaller, but they have all the confidence in the world to run screens and draws and to throw the ball downfield to him. So I think he's part of this roster for sure.
Well, he's got his gadgets in there. It's like there's some plays that it's like Khalif might only be out there for 3 plays in a game, but it's like it's the bread and butter plays. And it's so funny. It's like nobody ever covers Khalif. It's always him running out of the backfield, catches some wide open pass because they're trying to cover everybody else, and Khalif just runs real fast.
That's exactly it, buddy.
That's Leaf, baby. You can't get rid of that, broski. We love Khalif.
And just so everybody
thank
knows,
you. Thank you. Mhm.
if you have not yet checked out Villain on Facebook, you can do so by getting this QR code right here, scan it, head on over to Facebook, join the Villain Squad, get involved, man. It's a great group of people, great conversation, great way to share information and get quality, concise information back. That's where I go for my news on Facebook. I think you should too. And it is for the price of $0 and 0 cents. Can't get a better deal than that. Well, that's going to wrap us up for today, Villain. It's always fun. I think this Tuesday thing at 9:30 seems to be working out. I appreciate all of the questions that we got in the chat today, guys. Marcus, Carrie, Dwayne, Broski, everybody that got involved early. Tell your friends and family, get involved. I love the questions, guys. If this thing turns into just a question and answer session, I'm okay with that too. So fire away, keep them coming. Villain, before we get off today, why don't you tell all the good people out there where they can find you, all your quality work, what you're working on for the season, what are you most excited for? Go ahead, buddy.
Well, first of all, I'm totally not prepared because I had, Leon Phelps came in at 60,000 and he was, I forgot to make the 70,000 one, but I was going to be here at 70,000 and we got there. So thank you. Yeah,
baby.
So the YouTube is at Villain Squad. The Facebook is at Villain Squad or Lions Villain Squad, and the YouTube page is gonna pick up a little bit of steam there. We're approaching 1,000, so I'd appreciate some peeps going over and hitting the subscribe button on the YouTube page. Let me see if I got that in here. Do I have that one in there? Let me see there. Is that no?
There's YouTube page. There you go, baby. Faith, family, football.
Yeah. Faith, family, and then football. Yeah, I take walks in the morning with my son. And whenever I get over to Davison Park, I do a live so I can get the little villain in there and promoting health awareness out there. Get out there and enjoy the summer, everybody. It's a beautiful summer. And God bless you. And you mind if I say the prayer over them?
Please do.
So may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again. And that'll be what we know in Jesus' name. Amen. And that'll be next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, 9:30. Let's do it.
Next Tuesday. We're gonna keep this rolling. I'm having a lot of fun with this. And Villain, I appreciate you coming on every time. It's what's great is now we don't have to just make up topics. we can roll, we can do things, we can actually talk real football. I'm pumped, man. I mean, Thursday is a small bite in what will be a huge entree of football this season, but I very much look forward to it. Come back and see us next week, Tuesday, 9:30. We'll have a whole new set of topics. We'll be preparing for another preseason game for the Lions. We got, what's the following up? August 8th, they're going to play the Falcons. So we'll be preparing for that one. We'll talk about camp. We'll see where we stand injury-wise, and we'll just have a good time like we always do on Tuesday night. So, Villain, thank you, buddy. I appreciate your time. I hope everybody has a fantastic night. Peace out.